really sentence combining is such an important skill because we want to be able to create elaborate sentences that are descriptive and informative and all that. So let's talk about just a couple of basic ways to combine sentences. And it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, this is a good refresher. So obviously, when we're talking about combining sentences, we're talking about also punctuating phrases and clauses and things like that might be in between. So, if you're writing a paper, instead of doing the sentence like, okay, that of course is really short, choppy sentences. I went to the beach. We had a very good time. I can't wait to go back. All right, so the better way to obviously do that was I went to the beach and we had a great time. Okay, that's one way you could combine that sentence. And therefore that's just an example of sentence combining. This sentence flows better. It's not short and choppy. It's just awkward, the previous sentence. So of course you can use a comma with a fanboy, you can use semicolons, and let's talk about the different ways we can combine sentences. All right, so let's just go to another basic sentence. Our game was canceled. We will play it tomorrow. Okay? Got two complete sentences. So one way to combine sentences would be with a comma and a fanboy, one of the fanboys. And depending on how the sentences correlate, depends on which fanboy. This is like as a result of something. So you would put so. Of course, the fanboys, in case you didn't know, are coordinating conjunctions that you can use with a comma to combine sentences. Fanboys. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. You can use a comma with any of these, comma with one of the fanboys, to combine two complete sentences. Okay, that's one way you can combine sentences. Another way you can combine sentences is with a semicolon. Our game was canceled. Semicolon by itself. We will play tomorrow. We'll play it tomorrow. Okay. Now semicolons, when you're using combined sentences like that, it needs to be something that's really, really, really closely connected, almost picking up on it. I think this would actually be fine, but technically a semicolon by itself can connect two complete sentences. And a semicolon, transitional word, comma, can also combine two sentences. Okay, so what are some transitional words? And if you use one of these transitional words, again, to bring two sentences together, you use a semicolon and a comma. Of course, therefore, however, in addition, thus, consequently. There's several of them. These are transitional words, and there's some conjunctive adverbs too that you can combine sentences with. But with these, you have to use a semicolon, transitional word or conjunctive adverb, and a comma. Okay, that's sentence combining. So there's three different ways. You can have a comma with one of the fanboys. Okay, you can just use a semicolon by itself, or you can use a semicolon with a transitional word or conjunctive adverb and a comma. Okay, now you'll see these words used in other places. Now, just because you see one of these transitional words doesn't mean that it needs a semicolon. These words can be used as introductory words and interrupters. So let me give you an example of where you wouldn't use a semicolon. will, however, okay. Now, if one of these transitional words is just interjected into a sentence as an interrupter, of course, you just put commas around it. But if the word is combining two sentences, okay. In this case, of course, it is combining two sentences, so you need the semicolon and the comma. So that is some just very, very basic sentence combining strategies. Commas with fanboys, semicolons by themselves, and of course a semicolon with a transitional word or conjunctive adverb. All right, just make sure when you're looking at the fanboys or those transitional words that they're actually combining two sentences. Like, for example, just because you see and, for, yet, nor, whatever, doesn't automatically mean it needs a comma. Let's look at this one. Now right here you wouldn't need a comma with it because it's not bringing two sentences together. Went shopping, of course, is not a complete sentence. So you don't always need commas with these, and you don't always need semicolons with those transitional words. It's just whenever they are combining two sentences. Okay? So keep practicing on that. We definitely want to be able to combine sentences and recognize complete sentences and fragments and phrases and clauses and all that good stuff. But sentence combining is so essential. So you got a couple of ways: comma with a fanboy, semicolon by itself, semicolon transitional word or conjunctive adverb with a comma. Okay, hope this was helpful. It's just a quick refresher, and go practice some.